Hey, World Changers! Happy St. Patrick's Day! I hope you're all having fun. You've been out celebrating, and if you do celebrate St. Patrick's Day, I celebrate it in a very different way because today is a monumental milestone of a day for me. I've just realised my phone's on, so I'm going to switch it off. But yeah, today marks a very monumental big day for me because 10 years ago today was the day I decided that I was going to change my life. At the time, I didn't realize I was changing my life. I just knew I had absolutely reached enough. I had reached my end point where I was sick to death of living the life that I was living. And the reason I know it so well is because myself and my partner at the time, we had another almighty row. It always happened on Paddy's Day, purely just because he was Irish. It was always a big day out, and it always ended up in an argument. And I remember 12 months earlier thinking, I am not going to be in this position this time next year. And there I was, 12 months later, having the same argument. My life was not thriving in any way. I mean, to be honest, it wasn't at that point. There was nothing really horrendous or bad in my life. It was just a complete dis-ease and dissatisfaction, and I just felt really just unhappy in life. You know, I was miserable in my relationship. I was in a lot of debt. There was stress, and I mean, yeah, these things cause anxiety, but what was about to come, the catalogue of challenges that came as a result after that, I realised that wasn't that bad at all. However, it was just this feeling of just like eat, sleep, work, repeat. Going to work, was coming home. Like I say, I wasn't happy in my relationship. We were having arguments all the time. I was in debt. I was overweight. I had some health issues, and you know, even though the only thing that was going great for me was my job, I was really thriving at my job, winning awards, doing fantastic, and I literally got to a place where I was just throwing all my energy into work because I was getting good results back from that, and I was using that as an avoidance technique because I didn't want to face all the other stuff. And because of my job, I was very fortunate enough to meet a life coach called Alisdair Stewart. And I'd made a program with Alisdair, and, you know, we were talking off air, and, you know, I was kind of quizzing him what a life coach does. And I was like, you know, what is that? What do you do? And he simply said, I help people to reach their true potential. And then he very bluntly said, you could do with some life coaching. And I was like, how very dare you? I was totally indignified. However, he was right, and it planted a seed, but I was not ready. You know, this thought kept going around in my head, but I was too embarrassed. I didn't want to pick up the phone. Hello to whoever that is. I can't see who's joined me, but hello to you. But yes, so I hadn't seen. I hadn't got to the got to the point where I was frustrated with life. I felt uncomfortable, but I hadn't reached my pain threshold where I'd reached my enough, where I was ready to pick up the phone and say, okay, let's try this life coaching. And it was only 4 months later, Paddy's Day, you know, I met Alisdair in early December. And, you know, after this almighty row that I'd had with my partner again, I was like, I'm done. I realised that if I did not do something different, this was going to continue, and it was probably going to get worse. And it was that defining moment that I decided, enough. I've got to change my life, and if I'm going to change my life, I have to do something different. I have to change my approach, because I keep doing the same things and expecting different results, or not even expecting, but just hoping for different results. And of course, you're not going to get different results. I hope you're hearing me okay, because I'm doing this on my computer and I'm very aware sometimes it can cut out. So give me some thumbs up if you're hearing this okay. But yeah, I'm just recapping on the fact that St. Paddy's Day, St. Patrick's Day, was a monumental day for me. It was a milestone turning point where I decided enough was enough and I was going to take responsibility for my life and I was going to do something different. And that's when I picked up the phone, crying my eyes out, phoned Alisdair Stewart, who's a life coach in Inverness, who I'd met 4 months earlier. Very bluntly had said to me, you could do with some life coaching, and the seed had been planted. And as a result, I phoned him up, crying my eyes out, and I simply said, I think I need to come and see you. And he says, right, okay, well, you're obviously in a state, let's, make this happen as soon as. And the first possible appointment I could meet with them was literally 3 days later. Of course, in that 3 days' time, I'd made up with my boyfriend. I'd convinced myself, life wasn't that bad. It's okay. I don't need to do any. I'm going to cancel this appointment because fear started coming up. I felt a huge stigma and embarrassment. I felt so ashamed. I could not sort my own life out. The fact I had to phone a life coach and say, help me sort my shit out, basically. And I felt really embarrassed at this. I felt I felt such a failure. I felt a loser. I looked at all my friends, family, colleagues. I was like, nobody else needs a life coach. Why am I the only one that can't sort my life out? Why do I need to go and seek help? However, flash forward 10 years to where I am now, and every aspect of my life has completely changed. I'm healthier and happier and just love my life. And that is despite a horrendous amount of challenges that I went through after starting to see Alisdair, not because of him, but basically in a nutshell, I started seeing Alisdair, really started to go to work on myself, became aware of my negative thoughts, how I was creating drama in my life, how I was creating issues. I started taking extreme responsibility. I was terrible for blaming everybody else and saying, oh, it was their fault, it was their fault, they did this, that did that. I only behaved like that because they behaved like that. And never really just said, do you know what, no, you've created this, and if you want to create a different life, you can be empowered to do that. But Alisdair became a massive role model for me in terms of just encouraging me to believe in myself, giving me the encouragement that I could make these changes, because that was the thing. I didn't really have these positive role models around me. So, 6 months into the life coaching, 6 months a year, and I was seeing really positive differences, trying to work on my relationship, improve that. It was improving my health, my happiness, and just really getting to understand what I was about and what I actually wanted from life, because that was the thing. I didn't actually know what I wanted. I just knew I was currently unhappy with my own situation. So I absorbed myself in personal development, going on courses and workshops and conferences and stuff, just trying new things out to work out what I enjoyed, what brought me joy, what was serving me, what wasn't, and starting to fill my life up with joy and squeezing out all the stuff that did not bring me joy, and just eradicating the things that didn't serve me. However, I sort of 6 months, a year into the life coaching, I was completely hit with an enormous amount of challenges. If you know my story, you'll know this already. And, I am reluctant to keep sharing this story because I don't want this story to define me. But I do think it's important that people know where I've come from, what I've come through, and why I'm so passionate about personal development. So, age 24, I already had lost my dad. Flash forward 10 years later, the lesson that I learned from losing my dad, because my dad, he broke down before he died and sort of said, I'm too young to die, I've got too much to live for. And once I'd kind of started processing the grief, I remember thinking, if I can learn anything from this experience, that is not going to be my legacy. I am not going to let life pass me by. I am not going to be lying on my deathbed saying, I have regrets and I'm going to live life to the fullest. So here I am, 10 years later. I am not living life to the fullest. Like I said, I've got health problems, a miserable relationship, loads of debt, da 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 da. And, it got to the point, then I started seeing Alisdair, the life coach. And then my mum and sister were both diagnosed with terminal cancer within 4 months of each other. And it was like, excuse my French, but it's like I was not living life to the fullest. And here I was being hit with the same brutal life lesson. Obviously, you can imagine that was just horrendously challenging. My mum passed away a year later. My sister survived for another 4 years. But I had another sister, Shelley, who has learning disabilities. She came to live with me. I became carer and guardian for her, sort of overnight, single mum overnight, because in the midst of all this, I did eventually split up with my partner, which meant selling the house. We moved to a rented house that was just plagued with all kinds of problems. And I had this nightmare landlady that refused to fix any of it, just to add grief onto top of everything else. I do. I really hate telling the story because it just sounds so miserable. However, it's important how low and how dark things got for me because of where you can see where I am now, and I am genuinely the happiest I've ever been in my life. And I would not be like that had it not been for a consistent personal development practice. So yeah, I'm looking after my sister Shelley. Things are really challenging. I had a brother as well that decided we didn't have a great relationship, and after Mum passed away, the relationship completely broke down, and he decided he didn't want anything to do with us. So that was another loss in our lives, and I just felt really, really, truly alone, and it did get dark to the point where I just thought, I am done with this. Again, I'd reached that point of when I am done with feeling this pain. And at that moment, I really seriously just wanted to check out. And I mean, I just wanted to end it all because I believed that, or I do still believe that when we pass away, we come to a point, when we pass away, we go to this beautiful place that's pain-free and it's lovely. I do believe in an afterlife. I'm not particularly religious, but I am very spiritual. And, I just believe that it's a place of unconditional love. And I thought, why am I putting myself through all this on earth when I can just check out and end it all? However, I was aware enough because of the personal development practice. That was like a massive wake-up call. That was my second wake-up call because I just thought, when did my mental health and when did that deteriorate so much that I was having these thoughts? I'm usually sunshine Susie, and that was not the case. But that was the wake-up call. I decided again, okay, I know the theory of personal development, I know all these tools and techniques, but I'm not applying them. So that was like, okay, time to really dig in, really start to really apply them. And Alisdair did say one thing. He kind of got my sense of humor, and he said to me, now remember, very earnest. He was like, now remember, Susie, no matter how bad things get, they can always get worse. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Am I paying you for this shit? But it was exactly the right thing I needed to hear, because at that time, despite all the challenges I was having, so the other thing I didn't mention, my job that I was really good at and thriving at, all of a sudden I was completely failing at that. I just couldn't concentrate, couldn't focus. So every foundation of my life had literally crumbled. It had been thrown up in the air, and it was like, right, go and create something new. So this was the point where, Alisdair said it could always get worse. And I thought, oh my God, are you serious? How can on earth could it ever get worse? But then I actually started thinking, do you know what? It totally could. I'm still alive. I'm still breathing. I still have the ability to laugh. I've still got money in the bank. I've still got a roof over my head. I've still got amazing friends. I've got a life coach that's supporting me through the darkest times of my life. I've still got my physical health. Mental health wasn't brilliant at that time, but, I had a lot to be grateful for. And that's where I put my energies and started focusing my energy and really, really thriving on that. So, not thriving, but, getting through. That was my steps that I thought, right, that's what I need to apply my focus. So again, I started picking myself up again, getting rid of things that weren't serving me, dealing what I had to deal with. I mean, that was a reality. Things still had to be dealt with. It was challenging, it was uncomfortable, it was painful. However, I was building up skills in resilience and, just protecting myself and just understanding that it wouldn't always be like this. I would get through this and life would improve. I had faith that it was definitely going to get better because I knew I was working on myself, and I knew there was only one way. I mean, well, there was two ways. I could have completely gone back the way and just said, you know what, sod this, and just stayed in victim mode. And I don't say that lightly because I know how horrible it is when you're in a place that when you're being challenged and you can feel like the world's totally against you. But when I realized actually that's not going to help me, I've got to pick myself up. And that's why I was fortunate to have role models. I'm really big on role models because I realize this is a fundamental issue that we don't have in our lives anymore. We don't have role models that encourage us and empower us and motivate us and inspire us. We've really got to go looking for them. So flash forward, after a lot of soul searching, self-discovery, personal development, here I am, 10 years forward. I've changed my diet, I've improved my health, I'm no longer in debt, I've left my day job to change a world, the absolute dream job. I've got amazing friends, love life, good people in my life, like no more toxic people like I used to have. Every aspect of my life is good. I mean, setting up a business is challenging, don't get me wrong, and that is the biggest challenge I'm facing at the moment because I'm learning new stuff, I'm pushing my comfort zone, and yeah, that's never easy. However, I wouldn't change any of it. I love it. And I know that, again, even though I'm finding this current time challenging with my business, going forward, I will get to a place 10 years time from now, I will look back on this and I'll be like, holy crap, I can't even envision what I will have created because, I've got all these ideas for my business. However, I just know that I'm almost limiting myself because if you told me 10 years ago that I'd be living this life that I am now, there's no way I could have envisaged that, it just wasn't even on my radar. And that's what daily steps of personal development do, because you create momentum. You're creating things that you're not even aware of are going to happen because one thing just leads on to another. So this is why I set up Change Your World, because I was very fortunate. Alisdair came into my life at a time I absolutely needed it. I was ready to make the changes, even though I was terrified, I was scared, I was embarrassed, I felt a failure, all these horrible negative connotations or negative emotions. I was ready for it. The seed had been planted and it just required me to say yes, to go and water that seed. And that's what Change Your World is about. I know there are so many people see my posts on social media, they see the newsletters, the emails, or whatever, wherever you see Change Your World, and you think, oh, that looks interesting. Oh, go on. But you sit on the fence, you don't take, because you kind of think, oh, there's still a stigma, there's an embarrassment that, well, if I go to that conference, am I saying I'm a failure or I need to change, there's something not right with me? Couldn't be further from the truth. By coming to a conference or events that we do with Change Your World, you're saying, I value myself, I'm willing to invest in myself, I'm making myself a priority, and I want to be the best that I can be. That is what Change Your World is about. However, I'm very aware that I don't always portray that message. Sometimes, I know my passion can come across as pushy or preachy sometimes, and it's not that. I genuinely just want the absolute best for people. So, sorry, I'm getting distracted by notifications on my phone there. But yeah, that is what I set up Change Your World for, because I wanted to give other people the opportunity. Now, whoever you are watching this, whenever you watch it, whether you watch it on the replay, You may be, I don't know where you're at right now. You might be in the absolute depths of despair, like I was, and you're thinking, I need to change. Well, if you're there, but you don't know how to do it, then engage with Change Your World, whether it's come to our life coaching groups if you're in the Highland area. Check out our 100 days of self-discovery that's on the website, changeyourworld.me. It's completely free. There's 70 videos there just now. We've got another 30 days to do before we get to the 100 days. It's an amazing resource and free tool, and really helps you to start a personal development practice. You can come to obviously our conference, which is happening on the 6th of April. It's only 3 weeks away. If you do want to come along to the conference, we've got 8 incredible speakers. Some of them coming to the Highlands for the first time. These are international global speakers. I bring the UK's leading experts here on the doorstep because I am sick to death of traveling all over. I've traveled far and wide to go to conferences and personal development conferences. And this was another thing. I was like, no. When I was setting up Change Your World, everybody told me that I had to go to the big cities and, it'd never be a success in Inverness. And I was just like, do you know what? No, I refuse to believe that. I know there are people in the Highlands that want this and are desperate for this and, fed up like me having to travel. Why can't we have it here in the Highlands? So I created it here, and I want to make the Highlands, a go-to place for personal development. I've got a huge vision for where I want to take Change Your World, and it's not just about personal development, it's health and wellness, it's living with health and vitality and energy and abundance. And yeah, it's just, it's just living life better. That's what it's all about. So I'm very aware I can't see people's comments here. I don't know why my screen, so apologies. I will respond to you afterwards. Oh, I can see Leona has joined us. Hi, Leona. It's nice to see you. I hope you're well. I can't read your comment, unfortunately. I don't know why that's not allowing me to do it. But yeah, so I just wanted to come on today. The reason why I decided to share the story again is because somebody actually contacted me during the week. They don't know me that well, but they've been watching my 100 days of self-discovery. And they phoned me up and said, Susie, what's your story? I've been watching your videos. What's your story? And so I told them a little bit about, my story. And then they said, but what was the defining moment? What was the moment where you decided to take responsibility and, make this change? And I thought, God, and so I told him, I remember it very clearly. And then, woke up today. I hadn't even been on my radar that it was St. Patrick's Day. And, of course, all over social media, it's saying about St. Patrick's Day. And I was like, oh my God, 10 years ago today was the defining moment where I decided to change my life. And it just leapt out at me. It was like a huge milestone. And I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to come on and share my story. So, yeah, what I was saying, wherever you're at just now, whether you're in challenging situation, whether you're, thinking my life's not that bad. Ugh, yeah, there's improvements I've been meaning to make. I know I need to make. I know I need to improve some of my health. I need to improve my diet. I need to improve my sleep. I wish I was a better leader, or wish I had stronger relationships with my loved ones, my family, my kids, or wish I was a better manager. Wherever you're at, Change Your World, Change Your World in general has something for you. The event on the 6th of April definitely has something for you, because I used to be a radio producer. I am used to creating programs and crafting them together so that they knit one speaker after another, and they join and they build and build and build until you eventually get a big finale at the end. And each thing, it's just reinforcement. And that's how I design my events. I bring the right speakers together to build on each other so that you can go away armed with a whole toolkit, whole army of ideas, be inspired, and just start implementing them. And I've created it, I have exhibitors there as well. And the idea of the exhibitors is that while you're fired up in that space, I'm going, do you know what? I'm going to change this. I'm going to get my health sorted. I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to get career advice, sort my career out, sort out my relationships. There are exhibitors there that can help you with that. So you can tap into there and make a commitment to yourself on the day and go, right, that's the support I need. That's the coaching that I need, blah, blah, blah. We've got, Change Your World, we've got an abundance of speakers that I can tap into, that I can put your way, or counselors, coaches, whatever, therapists. We've got a whole database of people that I can put your way and suggest to you and recommend. And, and personally, I genuinely don't care where you get help from. I just want you to go to work on yourself and live life better and become the best that you can be. Because when we do that, that's when we start creating a change in the world. Because when we think better, we make better choices. When we make better choices, we get better results. And then that's when our world changes. And if every single person was to do this, if we all had a personal development practice, if we were teaching this in schools, oh my God, it would just change the world for the better overnight. So that is the conference. Lunch is thrown in. Like I say, we've got the exhibitors, we've got the 8 speakers, we've got loads of freebies and goodies to give away. All the exhibitors are giving stuff away. We've got Inverness Leisure are giving away 37-day passes for their gyms, so that you can start, have a trial run, see if that's for you. We're going to have DW Sports there. They're going to be giving loads of freebies away. They're going to be doing fitness tests and, all sorts of things. We've got all incredible exhibitors lined up, plus the speakers. And it's just a great day. And obviously it's a networking event, so you get to mix with people that are like-minded, really committed to going to work on yourself. So if you're looking, I don't know, if you're a boss and you're looking for committed people, this is a place to be. So yeah, I just wanted to say, come on, tell you a little bit of my story, how today was a monumental day for me 10 years ago. It was the start of me changing my life. And I'm just hoping that you will see this opportunity, that the Change Your World conference, you'll see that as an opportunity, and you'll embrace it, and you'll step on it, and you'll go for it. So if you do not want to pay more, our tickets are going up after today. At the moment, they've got 15% off, so they're £85. So that's 8 speakers, lunch, exhibitors, your lanyard, your notepad and pen, and all the other goodies and free stuff, book signings, meet the speakers, all that. 85 quid. That's less than tenner a speaker. That is the biggest bargain. 85 quid to change your life. You can't get better than that. So if you don't want to pay more, then you'll need to book today. You can go on our Change Your World website, which is just www.changeyourworld.me, or you can go on Eventbrite and find us under the Change Your World conference there. Links in the text as well. So they will be full price after tomorrow. If you've enjoyed hearing my story, then please tag somebody in. Please share this. Please help spread the word about Change Your World. If you've been to a Change Your World event before, and I know many of you have, we've had 200 people at our previous events. So, tell them how wonderful. Read the testimonials on our website. If you're still not convinced, we've got testimonials on our Facebook page. They're all over. If you still need more convincing, then I don't know what more to say. I really don't. But anyway, I'm sorry I can't see your comments. I will reply to them afterwards. But yeah, love to you all. And I will hopefully see you there. But if you can't make it to the conference, do engage with our life coaching group or our 100 Days of Self-Discovery, and watch out for future news. We're going to be developing an online coaching program, which is due to launch in May. So look out for that. If you're not in the Highland area or you can't make it along to the event, look out for our online coaching program, because that is going to be global. That can reach anybody. So love you all. Take care. Have a fabulous day. Have a Guinness. Enjoy Paddy's Day, and live life better. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye.